Welcome back to the Dreaming Littles podcast. I'm Jamie, a certified sleep specialist, mom of two, and your host. So let's get started. Today I wanted to talk about sleep training, what it is, why you do it, why it's important, because I think not a lot of people understand exactly what it is, or people have an idea of what it is, and sometimes it's not that. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Sleep training essentially is teaching your baby to fall asleep independently on their own. It doesn't mean you have to leave them. It just means teach them to fall asleep without a pacifier or rocking or bouncing or a bottle or a breast for breastfeeding. Teaching them not to rely on props to fall asleep. The reason why that's so important is because if a baby falls asleep for the beginning of their sleep, whether it's nap or bedtime, with the help of something, whether it's you rocking them or bouncing them or patting them or feeding them, then when they wake up in the middle of the night, they're naturally, or the middle of their nap, they're naturally going to look for that same help to go back to sleep again. And this becomes really important around 3 to 4 months, because that's when the 4-month sleep regression arrives. I have an ebook that I'll link down below all about the 4-month sleep regression, and I also have a couple of blog posts about sleep regressions that I'll post down below if you want to hear more about those. And I'll probably do a future episode about the sleep regression specifically. But the 4-month sleep regression is not so much a regression as it is a change or a shift. For the first few months of your baby's life, they go through active sleep and quiet sleep. So you may notice newborns are very loud sleepers. They can, they make all kinds of noise, they make all kinds of grunts, they do all kinds of things, but they're still sleeping. And that's active sleep. They have a short period where they're quiet, and that's quiet sleep. When they hit about 3 to 4 months, their body goes through a change where their circadian rhythm develops, and they actually cycle through sleep much like adults. They go through REM sleep, quiet sleep, active sleep. So they cycle through all of those sleep cycles that we cycle through. And one of those sleep cycles is light sleep. And for us as adults, that light sleep may be when we wake up and check the clock to see what time it is, or turn over in bed, or adjust the covers, or elbow our spouse to stop snoring. But for babies, when that light sleep, they wake up, and then if they can't fall asleep independently, then they'll just wait for a second and then cry out for help to go back to sleep again. And a 3 to 4 months a 3 to 4 month old's sleep cycles are about 40 to 50 minutes. So you could be looking at this happening every hour, maybe every 90 minutes. And that's rough. So a lot of parents will come to me when their baby hits about 3.5 to 4 months saying, I had such a great sleeper. They were such a great sleeper. They slept so well. And then all of a sudden they didn't. And they were up every hour. And that is the sleep regression. And that is when it's a good time to sleep train them. I like to try and sleep train my clients, and I did with my own 2 kids, before the sleep regression hits. So when it does hit, they're able to sleep fine. Now I want to stop real quick and touch on sleep training is not removing all feedings. Sleep training is not baby sleeping all night for 12 hours. Sleep training is just them being able to be put down in a crib, fall asleep on their own. If they wake up and they're hungry and they need to be fed, then they should be fed. And many 3 to 6 months old still need 1, sometimes 2 feedings a night, which is fine. But the beauty of sleep training is you put them down, they fall asleep, when they wake up, if you know they nutritionally need to eat, you go in, you feed them, you put them right back down, they fall back to sleep. That's a sleep-trained baby. And it also doesn't mean that they don't cry. A lot of babies who are sleep-trained still will cry as they're falling asleep. Some babies, that's even just how they settle. Sounds really crazy, but it's totally true. They can just settle that way. So keep in mind that sleep training is not 12 hours of nonstop sleep for baby overnight. It's just teaching them to sleep independently without the help of any props or caretakers. And there's lots of different ways to do it. There is at least 6 methods that I can think of that I use with my clients. There's for very low cry tolerance to high cry tolerance. So there's a chair method where you just sit with the chair next to the bed until they fall asleep. Shh, it's okay, I'm right here, it's time for sleep, and just sit right next to them. There's the pick up, put down, where you pick them up when they start crying. When they settle, you put them down. There's the check and console, which is my favorite for most of my clients. It's where you go in and check in on them and then leave for a set amount of time and then come back. It's sort of like a modified Ferber method. And then the other method is extinction or cry it out, which is kind of the most extreme one, but it also works the fastest. And there's lots of different things you can try. There's lots of different things that work, and they all will work. I can guarantee you that if you pick a method to train your baby and you stay consistent with it for all sleep, they learn really fast. Babies are really resilient and they learn really quickly. They also, the older they are, the harder it is because they get more stubborn and it's harder to change a routine that's been going on for longer. But any change in any sort of routine is going to cause some frustration from your baby, and that's usually going to be in the form of crying. That's the only way that young babies have to communicate is to cry. If they're frustrated, they cry. If they're pissed, they cry. But keep in mind that your baby is safe, they're loved, they're secure, they're not sad, they're not abandoned, they're not lonely, they're not neglected. They're just frustrated because you're trying to teach them to do something that they haven't done before. And they're learning. And frustration's normal when they're learning. I like to compare it to when babies learn to walk. So if your kiddo first learns to walk and they walk a little while and they fall and skin their knee and they refuse to walk, you're not going to carry them forever. You got to work through it. You got to try again. It's the same as sleeping. So you're going to put them down and you're going to give them the opportunity to learn that skill. You can't do it for them their whole life. You need to give them this gift of allowing them the space and the opportunity to learn. At their core, babies are learning every day and they want to learn new things. And I can promise you that when you get to the point where you can have a nice bedtime routine, put baby to bed, kiss them goodnight and shut the door, and have time to yourself with your partner or your other children or whatever, it's the best feeling. And baby gets the sleep that they need, the restorative sleep their body needs to grow and develop, and you get some time to rest yourself. And that's super important. So just to recap, sleep training is not leaving them in their room to cry all night. Sleep training is not withholding feedings all night. Sleep training is not crying all night. What sleep training is teaching your baby a necessary skill that they're going to need for the rest of their life. It's giving them the gift of independent sleep and giving yourself the gift of better sleep. And it does get better and it does get easier. I have a bunch of blog content. I have some ebooks, and I also offer a variety of text support sleep packages. I'm here to help. Reach out to me, and I'd love to help you teach your baby to sleep on their own. Till next time, thanks for watching.